Good morning, guys. Whoever's in here already, I know it takes some delayed time, but I'm sorry this is a little bit earlier today than I usually go live. I have a really busy day starting this afternoon with sports, and I mean, I know, right? Parker having sports, it's unheard of. And things going on, so I decided to go live. I might go live later on tonight, but we will see. I'm going to let a few people get here. Um, There's a lot to go over today. So, and my house is quiet. Hey, Amber. Oh, I have a fly issue again. I've totally lost. There's so many things to catch up on. Hey, Solo. So I thought a really cool thing to do on Tuesdays would be called Trial Tuesdays. Um, because there's usually typically some good trials going on that we can go over. Oh my gosh, Amber, I'm telling you, they're spawning or something. I mean, well, I guess they would because but I have been like relentless with making sure there's no food around or anything, and it's just like they don't, and I have indoor plants, and so they get to them, and it's just been a whole thing. So, but I want to get right into it because we have a lot to cover today. Hey, cool gamer. I was just saying to Kathy, Joe, and Les, and Amber, and Jackson, everybody that I don't know why I mentioned everybody, but yesterday that there is so many cases right now that need attention and are wild that I can't imagine like even covering anything else in true crime. There's just so many cases that need awareness. But I wanted to share some good news. Let's start off with some good news. Well, I wouldn't call it good news, but let's say it's an in-between news, right? So last night, Kathy Joe sent me an article. She lives well, I almost doxed her, but most of you know that. Not saying where, but anyway, she sent me an article about a huge human trafficking bust that took place. There was, and I'm going to just tell you a few of the details. There's something called the World Games that happened, and I'm not sure if y'all know this or not, but it is statistically the biggest trafficking events are the Olympics and things like X Games and things like that because there's people from all over there, and it's a very easy time to be able to slip, well, to get away with it. So Homeland Security had run between Georgia and Alabama. I am Solo. I am. So we're gonna get pretty intense with that. So they had set up this operation, basically Homeland Security, everybody, government, whatever. They had busted at the end of this games. They busted. Let's hear this because it's so hard. 34 arrests of commercial sex buyers, 6 arrests on human trafficking related charges, 8 arrests of adult males for online enticement of a minor, 15 adult sex trafficking victims identified and provided services for, 4 victims of labor trafficking. Didn't even know that was a thing, really. 2 minor sex trafficking victims identified and provided services for. Um, 11 minor victims of online sexual exploitation and sextortion. I'm not really sure what that is. 7 adult labor victims. Seven missing and endangered minors were located, recovered, and provided services for. That is massive. 7. Okay. I mean, this was a huge bust. So it's good and bad. Okay. So it's good and bad. It's amazing that they rescued all these people. It's 80s girl, not that I've seen, not that I've seen. I've gotten some emails and stuff about things. I'm not quite at liberty yet to share those things. Um, if you saw info come out about it, all I know is that when I went to look up the articles on Facebook, they were gone. So I don't know, but I would love to know if you've seen articles or you've seen anything about the medical examiner's report. I would, by far, please or for sure, send it to me. Um, So I will say that when I heard that 7 minors, and Kathy Joe sent this to me because obviously Alabama, if you didn't know, is quite close to Georgia, and it turns out it's 2 hours from where Kaylee lives. And so there was, in fact, let me check. There was a large hope and fear that she was one of them that was rescued. Uh, so far, it does not lead. We've heard nothing, and her parents have heard nothing. So we would, it doesn't look like that's the case. So unfortunate, and hopefully now healing for these kids and the minors and everybody involved can happen, and we've got some more monsters behind bars, which is always a good thing. So, an 80s girl, please let me know if you see anything on Lisa Westbury. So, Kristin Smart's case, really quick, let's just go over anything. From my understanding, there's not really much to go over because of the fact that it's not publicized. Basically, they've opened statements with, here's the timeline, is how prosecution did it. The defense accuses Kristin, all right, of at-risk behavior. That is foolishness. All right, so that's what she does, at-risk behavior. That's what the defense is claiming. At 9:47 is when Smart's family was waiting for, on May 26th, was waiting for her phone call on that Sunday evening, and that's around the time they feel that Paul was calling his dad for help. So, other than yesterday was basically the laying out of a timeline, and prosecution claims they have uncovered evidence over the decades that's going to put them in jail forever. So now let's talk. We are going to cover this Parkland shooters case, Nicholas Cruz. I'm pretty passionate about Uvalde. I will say I did watch a press conference last night of the Uvalde community at a board meeting. It was the first one since anything had been released. I think it was good and bad because at the same time there's so much anger that I noticed it was inciting anger in the chat to the point where some people were like, just go to the board member's house and stuff. That we don't need, hey, Tara, Patricia, we don't need to hit violence with more violence. And there's a lot of angry people, and I wish that old Pete would show his face. I do know at least one other police officer has been put on administrative leave. The one that was in charge of the Uvalde PD, I believe, was also put on leave. But again, they're both paid. So, anyways, Parkland shooting happened in 2017. All right, if you don't know who Nicholas Cruz is, I'm about to tell you. He shot 33 people and he killed 17. I'm trying to put how to word this. So we're gonna watch some videos. This trial is said to be going on for quite a while. Actually, they said it could take like 4 months. We're not gonna cover it every day for 4 months, but we are in the start of it, and it should be out of lunch break here in the next few minutes, where I will stream a little of it. Diana, I know I am because starting at 2, I have appointments and then sports. I might go live again later, but let's talk about who Nicholas Cruz was. So his name is Nicholas Jacob Cruz. I will say he has two siblings, excuse me. I got to remember if they're biological or not, but they have a criminal record that goes pretty significant. Nicholas, I was wrong. So Nicholas's birth mom was a hot mess. She did beat, I guess, or it's alleged she beat one of them or somebody with a tire iron. It couldn't have been Nicholas because Nicholas was given away directly upon birth to Linda and Roger Cruz. Linda was in the delivery room when Nicholas was born. Unfortunately, by the time Nicholas was 3, he was diagnosed with developmental delays. By the time he was 6, he suffered the trauma of watching his dad die. Rena, is there a lot of lives going on? Well, usually I don't go this early. But I'll go again later, so I'll be on later. But anyways, so pray for Rena, y'all, too. Just a side note. It's kind of a rough week for her. But anyways, he'd suffered the trauma at 6 years old of witnessing his children's death. Disclaimer, no excuse. Not saying excuse. I'm saying we do hear a lot of these traumatic events in these formative years that are really manifesting in the later years. And again, it's just a huge thing about our mental health letting our kids down. So his biological dad dies when he's 6. When he was 16, he became preoccupied with wars, death, and killing. School records reveal. And it says he never made it in the outside world past 20. They knew their son had challenges, but neither lived to see what he was capable of. I will say that a few months before Nicholas did this in November of 2016, his mom passed away. Hold on a second. Okay, so she was like, his mom passed away on February 4th. So he went and moved in with a friend. They offered to take custody of him. Apparently, he was very well cared for and loved. And I'm just making sure I get his story correct. His family, his adoptive family, was actually really well off. In fact, he stood to inherit about $855,000 had he stayed out of jail. Okay, let's read what happened. I've been actually looking for this. Nicholas came down. Okay, so when Nicholas was 5, he was in the den with his father. His mom was in the kitchen, a friend said. Nicholas came down the hallway and he went to his room and he was crying. And then she asked him, "What's the matter? Did Daddy punish you?" Just as clear as day, Nicholas said, "Nope, Daddy's dead." Roger died of a heart attack at 67. Holy crap. Wow. So then it goes on basically to tell you about his insane amount of, issues with violence and, oh my gosh, all that kind of stuff. So I'm about to play something, couple things, and this is why I want to play it before the trial starts stream again. They did say he was incredibly bright. He was diagnosed with ADHD and autism. I just want to make sure I've got his story right. It does sound like he had a history of self-harm. He stared at everyone. So let's get to a couple points here. We are going to watch just about a 5-minute video. Trigger warning. Let me just put this in chat here. It's like a 10-second video of what took place that day. All right. And then we're gonna talk a little bit about some other things I want you to see before. Hey, Pamela, before the trial gets kicking off again and where we're at. Now, we did hear opening statements yesterday, and the prosecution actually did a phenomenal job of laying everything out. We're not going to watch it because it is pretty lengthy, and it's basically just laying out who he shot, how it took place. I noticed a lot of it took place in the hallway. We will watch one testimony. Okay, Rena, yeah, it's only going to be like 2 seconds, so, well, less than that. It does have gunshots, so.
Holy. Oh my God!
I know that's tough to hear. Okay, but that's a reality of what's happening with these school shootings. So that was him. Again, he killed 17 people, injured 33. That's all we're going to watch of that. But I do want to say I found two other things that I found interesting. Now, if you listen to his interrogation with the police when he was first interviewed, it was 3 hours long. He claimed again, he was another one that claimed voices, that he could hear voices and stuff. I'm not saying that he couldn't. I'm just saying there's a lot of other cases where we've seen the whole voices thing. He got very, very emotional talking about. Nice, Pamela. He got very emotional talking about his dad's death, as well as continually insisting that his brother not be involved in any way, shape, or form, and also asking his the police if his friend was okay that he was living with, and all that kind of stuff. One really just insane thing to me is that when Nicholas Cruz wandered off, he blended in when he got done shooting up the school, which, by the way, the resource officer school took off on the golf cart with the gym teacher. So, yeah, you know. But anyways, was that when he blended in to leave the school, he went to Walmart, went into a Subway, and sat down with a boy who had escaped. His name was John, and he went and put a phone call in for his mom to pick him up. Nicholas sat down. No, Pamela, I'm going to tonight. Nicholas sat down with this boy and asked him for a ride. They knew who each other were, for sure. John's sister was shot by Nicholas. Exactly, Solo. How do you sit down with this boy and ask him for a ride when you just shot his sister? Peter Wang was another boy that got killed. You could see the parents in the courtroom yesterday. It was just awful. 13 times he was shot. One of the witnesses' testimony, it's about 2 minutes, like 5 minutes long, and we're going to watch it because it's very interesting. Yeah, Pamela, go ahead and drop the name of the documentary. I will say that there was so many red flags again that went unreported, and they ended up finding cell phone footage where Nicholas Cruz mapped out where he was going to do it, when he was going to do it, how he was going to do it, completely outlined the whole thing on his cell phone. It's insane. It's insane. So what I do want to play though is this is also, I want to see if you guys, where did it go? Hold on a second. I've got to find this because it's actually super important. Don't go anywhere. Hang with me. I want to see what you guys think of this. Okay, got it. Hold on one second. It's 1 minute and 19 seconds long. Okay? I need to know your thoughts on it. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Pamela. I'm going to watch that. Parkland inside building 12. Okay. Let's watch this for a second. It's 1 minute long. Tell me what y'all think about this.
That either side wishes to add to the record or present at this time.
I believe Mr. Cruz wanted to make a statement to the court and to the victims present in the courtroom.
Okay.
May I take off my mask?
Sure.
I am very sorry for what I did, and I have to live with it every day. And that if I were to get a second chance, I will do everything in my power to try to help others. And I am doing this for you, and I do not care if you do not believe me. And I love you, and I know you don't believe me, but I have to live with this every day, and it brings me nightmares, and I can't live with myself sometimes, but I try to push through because I know that's what you guys would want me to do. I hate drugs, and I believe this country would do better if everyone would stop smoking marijuana and doing all these drugs and causing racism and violence out in the streets. I'm sorry, and I can't even watch TV anymore. And I'm trying my best to maintain my composure, and I just want you to know I'm really sorry.
He is solo.
And I hope you give me a chance to try to help others. If I believe it's your decision to decide where I go and whether I live or die, not the jury's. I believe it's your decision. I'm sorry.
Okay, anything else?
What in the actual heck was that? Do we believe that? Do you believe that? Do you believe that apology? Now, I think we can say there's definitely some mental illness, right? I mean, that's a given, but yeah, that sounded very much like he was wanting to give them what they wanted to hear. And what the HE double hockey sticks is with the I feel. I'm sorry, I'm not. I was laughing a little bit. I feel if everyone would stop doing marijuana. Okay, that's as bad as the Kristin Smart ape theory. Like, are you kidding me right now? Did you just say that? You could hear the judge go, okay? Anybody else? Like, hey, Trenda, that sounded very manipulative to me, and the marijuana thing, and when he says, I love you, I don't care if I believe you, I think he was talking to either his parents or his siblings. I mean, that was his chance. He's not vaping in the pool, right? He's not going to get another chance, I don't believe, to address the court. That was a really wild apology, if you ask me. Yeah, I think he's a very manipulative man. We've got one other thing to watch too, and then the witness thing before they kick off here again at 1:15. I will say that I don't even know what to say. I think that's pretty much says it all. Now we have this, right? This is 2018. This happens. I 100% agree with you, Solo. I think that's exactly what we saw with the Tristan Bailey case. Not Tristan Bailey, Aiden Fucci or whatever you call him. I believe 100% he is highly, highly intelligent, which, we've seen autistic kids or whatever, autism aside. I think that he is very intelligent, and I think he is 100% trying to tell them what he wants, what they want to hear, but it is not coming out correctly at all. Now, this was in 2018 in jail. Whoops.
Surveillance video of Nicholas Cruz fighting BSO Deputy Sergeant Raymond Beltran is crucial evidence in his battery against a law enforcement officer case from November 2018. Defense attorneys argued today that BSO didn't save video in the hours before the alleged attack that would tell the entire story.
We no longer have the benefit, and a jury will not have the benefit of viewing the video and the incidents or whatever occurred prior to the preservation of what we have. The jury will not get the benefit of looking at that video.
The video includes 5 minutes before the attack, where Cruz is seen pacing in circles around the room while Sergeant Beltran sat nearby. Then the entire attack and encounter, which lasts about a minute, and then when Cruz backs off and complied. Prosecutors say the video is more than enough to keep as evidence.
The defense has made no showing.
I think right here we can determine, hey, remember I showed that primal fear clip you all? The way he's pacing and stuff, I'm not saying that he doesn't hear voices. I'm not saying that the guard didn't look to me like he was, like I thought, okay, maybe the guard is like taunting him or something. kind of looked to me like the guard was just chilling out there. I don't know. I couldn't hear him. But he clearly is pacing and then just goes boom. So I don't know if he thought that would hurt his case or exactly, Pamela, or if he thought that would help his case by these voices told me to do it. Because if you notice exactly what Pamela just said and exactly what Solo said, he didn't do it when there was other people around. He's probably not allowed around other people, but you know, where there's one guard, I just think it's just pretty he's very calculated. I want to watch this witness testimony because this is actually one of the kids. Now, please don't worry. It's not, well, you know, no matter what in this situation, it's not going to be easy things to watch. All right, but this is one of the boys that he actually let go. There has been quite a few testimony of the from kids and teachers that were there. And, you know, it's not easy, but it's real life. It's real life. And this boy probably has never been the same.
On that date, on Wednesday, February the 14th, 2018, fourth period. Do you remember where you were?
Yes, I was in room 1216 in English class with Miss Haas.
Miss Haas?
Miss Haas.
Okay. Okay. And what happened during fourth period?
During fourth period was a normal day at the beginning. Around 2:21, I asked to go to the bathroom. Raised my hand, got the bathroom pass and everything. And I walked out of the classroom, made a left past room 1217, I believe it was, or 1218, both of them. And I saw Martin and Luke, and I high-fived Martin. And I walked by him like it was normal, walked into the staircase, and I walked into a man. He was wearing a maroon shirt with a JROTC shirt with a backpack and a hat on, black pants. He had a rifle in his hands. I was stunned for 1 second, and he said to me, "Get out of here. Things are about to get bad." And I walked through the double doors. I sprinted as fast as I can. I was in the room, in the staircase for about 7 seconds. And I ran out and I ran to the north side gates by, it was called our senior lot. And I ran into Coach Feiss. Coach Feiss was unlocking the senior gates as he normally does with around 20 minutes left to school. And he told me to be calm and get into his golf cart. So I got into his golf cart. He dropped me off in the 1300 building, which is the building adjacent to the freshman building. And he took me to the back there. And then that's when I heard the fire alarm go off when I was standing right in front. And I was hearing shots. And
you were still hearing shots?
I was, as he was bringing me to the door.
When you heard the shots, Mr. McKenna?
I was in the golf cart driving over to the 1300 building.
Okay. And Coach Aaron Feiss was driving the golf cart?
Yes.
Okay. And then what happened?
And then he told me he's going to go check it out. So I waited there, and then I started hearing shots, and all the students in the 1300 building started running out. So I started running with them. And I just ran all the way through Westglades, which is the school adjacent to our school, and through Westglades into Walmart, which is also next to Westglades.
Okay. And then what happened? And
then from there, I ran all the way over to one of my friend's house, and he lived across the street. I was calling my dad. My dad he works for law enforcement at the time. And
okay, everything.
That was about everything.
Okay. All right, I want to show you State's Exhibit marked A that's been introduced into evidence. And can you see that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So there's an illustrator.
Exactly.
You know what I mean by that? Ian, can you put that up on the screen for him? Yes. Do you see what?
It's not up yet.
Sorry?
It's not up yet.
Okay, now it's up.
Okay. So would you indicate where you ran out? And you said you ran out.
I ran out right around here
Okay.
at that door.
Okay. And where did you run to?
I ran along here, over to here, and then Coach Feist was unlocking the gate that's right around here.
Okay. And then where did he take you?
He took me into his golf cart, which was in here, over into, there's a doorway over here behind that little alcove.
Okay. And when you said you bumped fist, it was with Martin and Luke. It's Martin Duque Aquino and
Yes.
Luke Hoyer? Okay. At this time, Your Honor, we'd like to play the snip that involves Mr. McKenna.
Okay, and this is something that should only be.
No, it should not be shown.
Should only be viewed by the jury.
Yes,
Okay.
and defense.
Okay, so right now the jury and the defense and the attorneys and the judge, they're watching the interaction that this witness had with the defendant. This video has been released, so we have it. So we'll show that the version that we have, where his face is blurred out. But this is what this is chilling. You see Cruz walk in, he's assembling his gun, and here's this freshman walks right by and has an interaction with Nicholas Cruz as he's loading up. And he would testify that he went then across the street to his friend's house. It's really difficult to comprehend that Christopher McKenna, who was a freshman at the time, is now sitting in this courtroom and able to recount the story. Talk about a brush with date. I mean, literally within 2 seconds, Nicholas Cruz goes to work, but doesn't seem to go after, obviously, McKenna. And now he is in court testifying to this jury. The clip that they are watching obviously is got a little longer. Rachel Coffin in studio with us, and Jesse Law has been with us all morning long. And Rachel, you look at this kid here, talk about lucky to be alive.
This whole time I was completely muted. Lana, give me a call outside of here, but just in case they are going to reconvene, in case you are not familiar with what is happening, this is actually to determine whether or not he gets the death penalty or spends the rest of what the heck did I just do? The rest of his life in prison. So I believe the prosecution is still basically making their case. So we're going to see here how long this takes for them to actually get back or not. And it's safe, Rena. Punkette the blacklisted. Oh my gosh. We're just waiting for the trial to reconvene to see who is actually going to be testifying now. So I will say that they are saying, so this is supposed to be about 16 weeks. Now, we're not going to cover it every single day for 16 weeks, obviously. We will try to keep up to date on it. However, I will say that a lot of this is due, I believe, being drug out because of these 2-hour lunches, all these sidebars that have happened. Yesterday, there was a parking lot issue. Then there was a video issue. It's just ridiculous. Punkette, I am telling you, YouTube's notification system is so flawed. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, Solo. I wanted to make sure that we caught the witnesses in the very beginning from prosecution, as well as I want to see what the defense claims when they get their opening statements and in what regard. But yeah, it'd definitely be weekly. I know a couple other larger true crime channels were like, we're not going to cover 14 weeks or 16 weeks of a trial every day that might hold no purpose. While we're waiting for this to start, I am going to show you a little bit of the testimony from the witness yesterday. Shooter. But till this starts. Here we go. Because who knows how long this will take. Okay, here we go. Let's watch some of this. This is, and I'll keep track of the other one because I don't know what's taking it so long, but let's hop off of this and I'm going to share this. Here we go.
Attention to Wednesday,
More
February
witnesses.
the 14th, 2018. Do you remember that day?
Yes.
I'd like to call your attention to the fourth period. Do you remember where you were on the fourth period on that day?
Yes.
Where were you?
Miss Haas's classroom.
And what classroom was that?
1216.
Okay. So I'm just going to put this up real quick. Can you see that on your screen?
No. Yes.
Can you? It's kind of blurry.
It's a bit blurry.
Yeah.
No child should ever have to go through this.
Dan, you know why it's blurry?
Do you want him to help you?
Yeah, sure.
There it goes.
Good.
Hey, Jen.
Okay. Thank you, Ian. Okay, can you see that?
Yes.
Okay. It'll come up. I'd like you to just put a little circle where you were.
Just point to it, or?
Can you
Yeah, I see.
use the... That's it. Okay. Okay, great. All right, so fourth period, Mr. Olson, tell us what happened.
Well, we were sitting in a group that day. We were doing something like an essay or activity like that. And all of a sudden, I heard a bunch of loud noises in the hallway. I did not know what it was. And after a few seconds, I think everyone realized it was gunshots. And then I look over and I see Alex not moving. And then my memory is...
You talk about Alex Schachter?
Yes. And then I guess a few seconds, I don't know, goes by, and then I'm on the floor in front of the teacher's desk. waiting. And then eventually, Kashava comes in. I'm with him in front of the teacher's desk.
Is that Kashava Magaporum?
Yes.
Okay.
While I'm laying in front of the desk, I realize there's blood all over me. I don't know. There's blood all over Kashava. I don't know. I don't really still like realize what's going on. And I can hear the shots still, and I hear them
Yep, you're right, Solo.
get farther away, and I guess eventually go to other floors. It gets a little quieter, but eventually there's more loud noises, and it's the police coming to, I guess, escort us out. And once we're out of the school, I go wait at an ambulance station, medic station for a minute. But then I realize I see someone I know, someone's mom that I know. So I go to her and call my mom, and then my mom picks me up from there, and we drive to the hospital.
Okay. So let me take you back in school, in classroom 1216. So you say you hear some shots?
Yes.
It's so
And so
awful
what
because
do
these
you do
kids don't get a
exactly?
choice, right? They don't get a choice.
Well, I'm kind of waiting in my seat for a bit because I don't really,
Hey, Lori.
I didn't understand what was going on at the time. I just remember looking over at Alex first, and then I don't really remember how I got onto the floor from there, but I realized I was on the floor after.
When you looked over at Alex, what did you see?
It was not moving, maybe twitching a bit, but
Okay. And then what did you do?
I ended up on the floor in front of the teacher's desk. I don't know how I got there. I just was there.
Okay. Were you wounded?
Yes.
When did you get wounded?
I don't know, but I realized I was wounded when I was laying in front of the teacher's desk.
Okay. Did you see anyone else get shot?
Not get shot, but injured.
Who'd you see injured?
Kashava.
Okay. And then what happened after that?
Kashava and I were waiting in front of the teacher's desk for, I don't know how long, forever. And yeah, it's.
Okay. Did you see, where did the shots come from? Did you see where the shots come from?
No, I didn't see where they came from.
Okay. Do you know how many shots were fired into your wound?
A lot.
Okay. Was it one time or more than one time?
More than one.
Okay. How long before the first time and the second time, if you can remember?
I don't really remember how much time.
Pardon?
I don't remember how much time in between.
Okay. Would the first shots came in and compared to the second shots, same amount of shots come in, or more the first time or more the second time, if you remember?
I don't remember.
Okay. I'm going to show you state's exhibits more. 2M, 2L, 2Q, and 2O. Mr. Olson, we can take a look at these, okay? Do you recognize who that is?
Yes.
Who is that?
Me.
Okay. Did those four photographs truly and accurately depict your wounds that you received on February 14, 2018?
Yes.
They're accurate?
Yes.
And where were they taken?
West Boca Hospital.
West Boca Hospital?
Yeah.
Okay. Your Honor, I show these to the defense. I'm going to
completely sitting here talking to myself. I said, this is, I shut that one down because this is live now. They're coming back. Sorry. And you're right, Solo, exactly.
Auditor is the president of the conference call. Okay, you all may be seated. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everyone had a nice lunch break. We're going to resume with the state's next witness. State, whenever you're ready, you can go ahead and call your next witness.
Thank you.
This is a student, I believe.
Or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Okay, thank you. You can be seated. And when you're seated, please state your full name and spell your last name for the record.
My name is Kushava Reddy Mangapuram, Mangapuram.
Okay, we are not going to be able to hear you like that. So if we can either have you scoot up into the microphone.
My name is Kushava Reddy Mangapuram, Mangapuram.
These poor children.
And Mr. Magapuram,
That's
are
they
you
are
going
children.
to school?
Yes,
Where do you go to school?
University of Central Florida.
And what year are you in?
I'm going to be a sophomore soon.
Okay. I'd like to call your attention to Wednesday, February the 14th, 2018. Do you remember that day?
Yes.
And do you remember where you were during the fourth period of that day?
Yes, Miss Haas's class, 1216.
Pardon?
Miss Haas's class.
Okay. And 1216?
Yes.
Okay. And tell us what you remember happening during fourth period on February the 14th.
It was a regular day. During almost the end of the period, we heard loud noises. Wasn't exactly sure what it was, but as everyone did everything, we hid under a table.
True, Amber.
The way I was seated, I had to get away. There was a metal bar on this side and on this side. So when I turned, I got hit. And during that time, I went under a table. While I was there under the table, I had to just wait, I guess. And
I'm going to stop my banner so you can see the
assumed there were shots
subtitles.
coming from the other classroom. I saw bullet holes, but I later learned it was actually the second round of shots from the shooter. And then after me and my friend saw those shots, I went to the front of the desk where I saw William Olson. He had a little bit of blood on him, and from there was just waiting.
Okay, so you hear these sounds. You know where the sounds sounded like they were coming from?
Yes, from my door.
From what?
From the door.
Okay. And did you see any shots come in the door?
No.
And when you said you were hit, where were you shot?
Yeah.
Where were you shot?
Like the right side of my stomach.
I'm sorry?
The right side of my stomach.
Okay. And then you went and hid behind the table?
Yes.
Is that what you said? Okay, and did you see anyone else shot?
I saw William Olson get hurt.
I'm sorry?
William Olson get
William
hurt.
Olson? Okay. And I hope you don't mind taking that off. It might put any pressure on you to take that. Are you sure?
Yes.
Okay. So you saw William Olson. Did you see anyone else get shot?
Alex Schachter.
Alex Schachter? And where was Alex when you saw him?
We were in a group together, so basically diagonal from me on his desk, he instantly.
Okay. And anyone else?
No.
How many, did you see shots coming from the door?
No, my back was to the window most of the time.
Did there, so after those first shots came in, what happened after that?
So the first shots came in, I was able to, there was a table attached to the wall near the whiteboard. Me and a friend were underneath. We just waited until we saw shots, more shots there. There was like little bullet holes coming through the wall. At that time, I assumed it was from the other classroom, but later on I learned it was actually since he came back and shot, and I moved towards the front of the teacher's desk at that point.
Okay, and then what happened after that? Did you hear anything else?
Shots kept getting further, they kept going upstairs.
Okay.
There was a lot of dust.
Okay, and then what happened?
After that, it was just waiting until the police came and helped us out.
And I know it's hard to remember. Do you remember how long it took before the police got there?
10 minutes.
10 minutes? Okay. Kashava, let me show you, no, I've showed these pictures too. Let me show you pictures, photographs. This one's marked 2X. Hold that if you want. 2W, 2U, 2D, and 2T. I ask you, Mr. Magaforum, do you recognize those photographs?
Yes.
And who are they photographs of?
Me.
Okay, and where were they taken?
At a hospital.
Okay, was this after the shooting?
Yes.
Did they illustrate where you were shot?
Yes.
Okay, can I have them back? Your Honor, may I introduce these, please? Please, please.
Yeah, so that's possible. I don't know what they're just putting on. Apparently they're listening to something. Amber, I have no idea. I'm sure it was extremely difficult for them to select a jury because I don't necessarily know that I could have done it in a non-biased way. I don't think this will last too long. Yeah, Pamela, that's what I find interesting is I guess for 16-week trial he pleaded guilty, so I'm just surprised that for a 16 like that many I don't know, that's I will say for a side note, while we're waiting for this part to be done, whatever they're listening to. Oh, that's true, Solo. So I was just reading, apparently Uvalde might actually go to a virtual. this fall, because there we go.
The defense objection states 2X for identification is received as states 27. 2W for identification is received as states 28. 2U is received as states 29. 2V as in Victor is received as states 30. And 2T as in Tom is received as 31.
Okay, Mr. Magapone, I'm going to show you states 15. Can you see that?
Yes.
That's you?
Yes.
Okay. And states 27. And is that your right arm?
Yes.
Okay. And states 28. Can you see it okay?
Yes.
And where is that?
My right arm is
okay. And states number 29. What's that show?
Hey, Chris.
I got hit almost.
Okay. And is this a close, Stacy exhibit 30, is this a close up?
Yes.
Okay. And did they accurately depict your injuries as they existed on February the 14th, 2018?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. McAporn. Your Honor, I have no further questions.
Okay, thank you, sir. You're excused.
They do, Lori. It's like Solo said, they got to drag it all back up now because it took so long. Absolutely, Lori. Sounds wonderful, Lori. I would be the one to trip and fall, y'all. I'm just telling you, I would right now. I'd be so nervous I'd trip and fall.
Just remain standing for this one. Good afternoon. Please raise your right hand. You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Yes. Thank you. You can be seated. And when you're seated, please state your full name and spell your last name for the record.
Okay. My name is Dara Haas. My last name is Haas, H-A-S as in Sam, S as in Sam.
Thank you, Your Honor. Good afternoon, Ms. Haas. How are you?
I'm okay, thank you.
Good. So how are you employed?
I work for Broward County Schools,
Okay, and are you assigned to a specific school?
Marjorie Stoneman Douglas.
Okay, and where is Marjorie Stoneman Douglas?
It's in Parkland.
Okay, and how long have you worked at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas?
I started there in the fall of 2016, and I'm currently still there.
26 years?
Oh, no, I'm sorry, I started in 2016,
Okay,
and I'm still there
okay.
currently.
And
Exactly,
were you
Lori.
in school or were you employed prior to 2016?
So true, Solo. So true.
I was working at other schools within Broward County.
Okay,
Cannot
how long have you been
imagine
a
seeing
teacher?
him again.
About 15 years, I believe.
Okay, and what do you presently teach?
English.
I'd like to call your attention to February the 14th, 2018. What were you teaching then?
Yes,
And what were you teaching?
English.
And were you assigned to a particular classroom?
Yes, I was in 1216
And 1216 is located where?
in the 12 building at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas.
The 1200 building or the freshman building?
Correct.
Okay. And you were in 1216?
Correct.
And that was your classroom?
Yes.
How long prior to February the 14th, 2018, was that your classroom?
It had been my classroom that year and the previous year.
Okay, so approximately 2 years?
Correct.
Okay. So I want to call your attention to that date of February the 14th, 2018. Do you remember that day?
Yes.
What time did school start at Marjorie Stoneman, or did school start at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas back on February the 14th, 2018?
7:40.
Okay, and what time your classes end?
2:40.
All right, and fourth period, were you teaching fourth period?
Yes.
And what classroom?
And I was teaching fourth period in 1216.
Okay, and what time does your last period start?
I think it was 1:10. I'm not sure.
It's an hour and a half or 90-minute class?
Yes, it's 90 minutes.
Okay, and is it a specific English? It's not specific English class?
It would be English 1
Okay.
with the freshmen.
Okay, all right. So during fourth period, Ms. Haas, tell us what happened.
So in the fourth period class, the students were working. They were working quietly on their assignment. And we heard the pop, 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 the sounds of the gunshots.
Okay.
It happened quick.
You're probably right, Solo.
My first instinct was it was a drill, so I went to shut the blinds, but the sound, it was so loud. I remember shaking and telling the students to go where they needed to go. It was a drill, and the students were screaming. Students were coming to my desk and screaming and shouting and coming over to any area they could. I turned around quickly, and that's when I saw that it was not a drill. One of the students was injured. He didn't have time to make it out of his desk.
And who was that, Ms. Haas?
That was Alex Schachter.
Okay.
He got injured very quickly. It happened very fast in the classroom.
Hey, Sherry.
Quickly I called 911, and as I called 911, I texted my husband, to call 911, that this was an emergency. The sounds were loud, and they were just a lot of them. The room filled with smoke. It was hazy. The kids were doing their best they could to get to safety in a classroom that has nowhere to go. We just tried our best to follow the direction of the 911 that said to, stay quiet and to do our best why help was on the way. It just was hazy, and you could smell the sulfur from the guns, and debris was flying across the room, and the students were crying, and so many students had been injured, and all of a sudden it was quiet. There had been so many gunshots and so many sounds, whether it was sounds in the hallway or shooting in the room, I didn't know. And then all of a sudden it was quiet. We heard a little yelling in the hall, and
Oh yeah, so
there was punching at the window on my door where it had shattered, but it didn't break. And terrified, I remember staring at the door and the punching, and when the arm came in, I saw the emblem of the police, and I knew that they had come in, and the team came in and they took the students out. But it was hard for me to leave because I wanted to stay with the students that couldn't go, and the police officer told me to quickly get out and that he would help the students that were still there that had been very injured. It was Elena Petty.
Who? I'm sorry.
Elena Petty.
Elena Petty. Where was Elena?
She was by my desk.
Okay.
How
about Alyssa Alphabet?
She was on the floor.
Okay.
In the classroom, and the police officer quickly helped me out of the classroom, out of the building, and an officer assisted me to the sidewalk where I was met by William Olson, who was covered in blood, and I asked him if he was injured, if it was his blood, and he was in shock and didn't know, and he thought he was injured. We took him to the EMT, but as soon as I got there with him, I prepared to stay with him, but Samantha Fuentes
She wasn't in your class, was she?
She was not in my class, but she had gotten my attention because she was so injured that she needed assistance as well, and I got her to the EMTs and helped other students, and the police then escorted me to the Holmberg corner.
Okay, and you mentioned Alex Schachter, you saw him shot, and Elena Petty and Alyssa Alphabet. How about Kashava Magapourm? Was he in your class?
Yes, he was. I remember Kashava. He was in front of my desk, and I still remember his face because he was injured as well. And he was in there with there was Justin Colton, there was Justin, Kashava, Genesis. I know William.
Genesis Valentin? Is that
yes,
okay.
She had been injured.
Did you mention William Olson?
William Olson, yes. And also Alex Dorrit.
Dorrit, okay.
Had been injured as well in the classroom.
All right, so did you see the shots first come in your window?
No, it happened so fast.
Okay.
There was debris flying over, whether it was the shots or that, I'm not sure.
Okay. Did there come a time where more shots came in after a short time afterwards?
Yes.
Do you know how much time between the first set of shots and the second set?
I don't. It just all seemed to happen so quick.
Okay. Let me show you, I've showed this photograph.
No.
I want to show you State's Exhibit marked 2Y for identification. Do you recognize that person?
Yes, it's Alex Schachter.
Okay, it's Alex Schachter, and I'm going to show you 2Z.
Oh my gosh, is she having to look?
And 3A.
Elena Petty.
Okay, Your Honor. Yeah, I know for these.
She's showing she having to see images of that day?
His 2Y for identification will be received as states 32. States 2Z for identification will be received as states 33. And states 3A will be received as states 34.
I don't have any further questions of Ms. Haas, but if the defense doesn't object, I'll show the photographs to the jury
At a later time?
after she leaves. There's no reason,
Oh,
unless they object to that.
okay. Do you have any questions for this witness? Okay, thank you, ma'am. You're excused. Mr. Sachs, are these photos for the public view or?
No, we're not going to show them.
Just for the
Thank you,
jurors
Ms.
and
Haas.
the attorneys?
Okay,
Yes.
and defense counsel is aware of that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, folks, can y'all see it? That's Alex Schachter. Alyssa Alfadef. And Elena Petty. Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you. State when you're ready, you may call your next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Isabel Checker. Your Honor, we have a sidebar office coming.
Sure.
That little punk better look at every single one of those images because he did that. But unfortunately, in this situation, again, I think they're listening to audio of what happened. In this situation, it's you kind of wonder if somebody like that almost enjoys seeing it happen again. That's what I'm wondering, Solo, if he does, if he's just reliving it there. So yesterday I thought with his hand in his head and stuff, he was showing remorse. But after hearing his original apology, the whole marijuana thing, and basically the rest, what's weird is that in that interrogation, okay, well, never mind. Hold on. We'll talk about that later. It's just extremely hard because any of these people, kids, whatever, who had intense counseling over the last 3 years for PTSD, this just resurfaces so much of it.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. We're going to need you to lean in a bit more and speak as loudly as you can.
Okay.
And please tell me your full name and then spell your last name for the record.
My full name is Isabel Checker. My last name is spelled Chequer.
Good afternoon, Ms. Checker. How are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Good. So, do you go to school?
Yes, I go to UCF in Orlando.
Okay, and what year are you in?
I am a senior, so I graduate soon.
Okay. And did you go to high school somewhere?
Yes, I went to Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida.
Okay, and how many years did you go before you graduated?
I went all 4 years.
Okay, so I'd like to call your attention to Wednesday, February the 14th, 2018. Do you remember that day?
Yes.
Okay. Do you remember where you were during fourth period?
Yes, I was in room 1214, Miss Seamus's History of the Holocaust class.
Okay, let me show you. Can you see that, Mr. Checker? Okay.
Yes, now I can.
Okay. And do you know how to work the?
Do I just use my fingers?
Yeah, we just hit a color.
Just wait till the colors
Well, it comes up.
on the screen.
Oh.
Now they're up.
Okay. Yes, I see.
Yeah.
Should I circle my class?
Yeah, please. Okay, so that's 1214, right?
Yes.
Okay, so that's your fourth period.
Yes.
And it's Miss Seamus's class, you said Holocaust history?
Yes.
Okay, so during fourth period, Miss Checker, please tell us what happened.
Okay, so that day we had been doing group presentations. So at the very beginning of class, we were finishing those presentations up. And then afterwards, we moved into a computer program called Eyewitness, where we would do, it's like a program where we read about the Holocaust and like history about it. And that day specifically, we were talking about the Olympics that took place. And so we were in the middle of doing work on the computer while also doing like listening to a lecture with Ms. Seamus. It was kind of open-ended discussion. And all of a sudden we heard, I think I heard like about 3 or 4 shots. And I immediately recognized what it was. And the whole classroom kind of just went into like flight mode. We went into different corners of the classroom. So I went, I believe, with a couple of other students to the corner that's directly across from the door. But I soon realized that it was in direct view of the window in the door. So I then moved to the corner that's diagonal from the door, which is where about, I think, half the class was, whereas the other half of the class went to the area, the corner next to the door, which was behind the desk. It was like not in view of the door. And so from there, at some point when I got to the corner diagonal from the door, that's when I got behind the filing cabinet that a couple of students had moved. And I think sometime during my movement is when I was grazed twice. I'm not exactly sure when. And then from there, we just kind of hid behind the filing cabinet and waited. And I was around a couple of other students, 2 of which I noticed, well, one of which I noticed was injured almost immediately, and another,
Who was
that was Samantha Fuentes. Her face was bleeding, and we were all kind of freaking out a little bit. And then afterwards, another student next to me, that was like, because we were kind of squished in the area, was complaining about a pain in her back, and that was Daniela Menescal, and she ended up also being injured that day.
Who was that?
Daniela Menescal.
Okay.
I don't know how long the time passed, but during it, we were just kind of, I tried calling 911 at one point, but my call never went through. And then while we were waiting for what seemed like a really long time, but again, I don't really know how long it was. I think it was a lot shorter. That was when I looked over like to the right of me, which was more where the corner was, since I was a little bit further from the corner.
Just don't worry about that. We'll be
Okay. And I saw Helena, like I noticed that she had passed away. And then shortly after that, I began to freak out a little bit, but we were all just trying to calm each other down, as other students were realizing too. And then eventually the police came, and they they asked us to put our hands up, and they took the wounded first, but I went to find my friend who was on the corner of the class where the desk was, Miss Seamus's desk. She was on that side of the class.
Right.
And when I got up, that's also when I noticed the other student who had passed away in our class, Nicholas.
When you were saying Helena, are you talking about Helena Ramsey?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And did you see Samantha Grady? Was she in your class too?
Yeah, but I didn't see her. I don't remember seeing her.
Okay. How about Nicholas Durrell?
Yes, I saw him when the police asked us to get up and put our hands up. I turned back, and that's when I saw him.
Okay. And you were wounded?
Yes, I was.
And where were you wounded?
I was grazed on my right foot and on my left arm.
I'm sorry?
My right foot and my left arm.
Okay. Your Honor, I want to show defense counsel.
I wonder if they're listening to audio of the body cam footage and whatnot. That's the only thing I can think of. Or the cameras inside the school that they keep delaying for. With the headphones. I mean, imagine these families, though. They've got potentially 4 weeks of, and so what I'm going to do with these is I'm probably going to make videos and stuff. Like, well, once a week we'll do a recap, but I'll probably make videos too throughout the week of like, here's what happened today in Parkland, you know, so that people can watch them when they want in the Parkland trial. And then like, we'll do a live update on it once a week. Like a lot of these families have to sit through for potentially 4 weeks of this every single day. I mean, if it was my kid that passed or was injured, you better bet I'd want to be there every day. And you're right, you know, whoever said it, it's not only just that they're reliving this experience, most of them, this is the first time they've been this close to the shooter as they were that day. I mean, man alive. So I hate to do this to you all, but I have to run to an appointment. I will, let me stop sharing this. I will do a recap later, but about every CBS News, every station is streaming this, so if you want to watch some more of it, hop over there. Like again, this is the prosecution's part of this, and we will see what happens. I do know that tomorrow I really want to start the Elizabeth Barraza case, and there's a couple other things this week I want to do. So, but obviously there's a ton of headline news right now that we'll keep talking about as well. Yeah, absolutely, Solo. Again, I'll keep you up to date with Kristin, but everything's pretty tight-lipped as of now. So I will talk to you guys later on. I hope you have an awesome, awesome Wednesday. Tuesday. Never mind. I'm on the wrong day. All right, y'all. Bye.